Gundam.tk presents BB Senshi, Knight Gundam. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert, 184, GundamReviews.net, and as you can see from these empty plates here, the Legend BB Knight Gundam, which is akin to a high grade in terms of quality, or so it seems, is all put together, so let's take a look and see how it stacks up. And when he's all put together, I think the first thing that you'll notice is just how many colors there are all over the place. The silver is going to be a little bit bland, I'd say, compared to the mechie parts, but overall it's still quite good. If the mechie wasn't there to compare it to, I'd be quite happy with it. You've got the red on the feet color differentiation there, cool looking front skirts, the blue arms from the light form underneath is looking good, and that big red cape is going to look a little bit cheesy from the back because you can see where it's separated there, but really good from the front. But it's of course the head that's going to have all the most important parts there, with the color differentiation thanks to the seals and the multicolored plastic. In terms of articulation, it is similar to a new SD, so it's going to be pretty good. You can see the action base is going to go in there. The feet are going to move around on ball joints, but if you try to move them too much, you can expect that they're going to fall out. The waist is going to rotate around here on a ball joint as well. The shoulders can go around, although they'll bump into that cape back there. And you can see that the elbows are going to give you a bend of about 45 degrees and probably not much more. And the fists are going to move around. The head is on a double ball joint, so it's going to have 2 points of articulation, and this visor, once you plug it in, can go down a little bit. With his armor off and his light form, you can see that the mobility would increase a little bit because it's going to be unencumbered by the armor all over the place. You can see that the shoulders are going to have those nice polycap pop-out parts, and overall he's looking okay, especially if you wanted to add a little bit of details to that chainmail looking part there on the head and on the shoulders. You could put some inking in there, but then again it's going to get covered up unless you're going to really display it this way, which I don't think a lot of people would do. For a look at the weapons, the shield at first is going to look really great because it's got these perforations up there, so any color that you see behind it is going to shine through, which just sort of looks cool, and it makes it look like it has more colors than it does from these 3 pieces of plastic. And on the back you're just going to have just a sturdy connection point there, and the hand is going to have to be awkwardly turned, but it's going to be turned so you're not even going to notice it. The spear itself is pretty plain, there's no color differentiation there, although you are going to put on these 2 large parts, which is sort of going to bulk it up in size. But it has to be the sword, which is looking, this you'd think could have been mechie parts similar to the helmet, but at least they give you that red jewel, which is going to look good on either side when you plug it in. And that shine off the helmet here, the fact you get to see the red and the yellow and the blue to go along with these silver parts here, a little bit of lining there and a camera lens on the back, but overall this right there is, I think, worth the price of admission alone, I'd say. And the other noticeable parts have to be these front armors where they're going to bother to give you the articulation, and again, because it's got that perforation there, it's just going to add the illusion of another color there, even though they don't have to give you more plastic. His Thor-like cape is going to have a nice little connection point there, as it's just got 3 little pigs that are going to stick out, and then this will just slide on. And what that's going to allow you to do is to bring this up, and because it's just on polycaps there, these are going to rotate off to the side, so you could have them sort of dynamically twisting this way. And they say that these individual parts can move up, but they can't really if you try to do too much with them. They're just going to pop off the polycap, but still overall the fact that they open is pretty impressive by itself. Fully armed, I'd say that this guy's going to look really impressive because the shield colors are going to match the helmet colors. You can even take the spear and put that onto the back there with that attachment point, which you'll remove for the transformation, as you'll see in a moment. And outside of the awkward grasp with the shield there, I'd say everything about this guy looks really cool when he's armed. For comparison time, here it is next to the not-so-old RX-78-2. This is for the 30th anniversary here, although I believe it's based on an earlier mold. But you can see that the Knight should be a little bit taller because of the fact that he actually has legs. However, it's quite a bit shorter than a modern SD in the form of the Age 2 double bullet over here on the right, whose legs look taller, head looks bigger, not to mention the fact that he's got a bigger waist and chest section and a little bit more width thanks to those guns on the side. But the Knight Gundam still certainly fills out thanks to the big shoulders, shield, and that spread cape back there. And if big swords and big shields are your game, then the Quanta's going to do it just a little bit better in terms of size there. Although the Knight, again, is going to have all those colors there, and I'd say he'd stack up with any modern SD. To turn this guy into his horse mode, you're just going to pop off the feet and take these parts and attach on the hooves. And then you're also going to have this whole part back here, which is actually going to have a surprising amount of mobility, and plug it into the back. And while BB Senshi has had some ridiculous stuff over the years, I think this has to be right up there with the best of them. You're going to be able to move the tail back there, and you can actually swivel these parts and move the legs around, so almost better than Foon Psyche there. The upper body isn't going to be affected at all, and you are going to add a little bit more height there because you're adding on those. hooves instead of those little flat feet there. So overall, it's something that is a little bit fun, but again, I don't know how often you do it, and probably not worth buying another one just to show them off in both modes, I'd imagine. And for comparison, I'd imagine that Foon Psyche is the only one who's appropriate. Again, that this guy just doesn't have all that much leg articulation, I seem to recall, and this one, it's surprisingly good back there in his hind legs. So my final verdict for this guy, as you see him going around there, is going to be the old thumbs up, and that's just because for 1,000 yen you're getting 3 full plates, and it's very well designed, and it's going to bring all the fun of old SD kits into the modern century, basically, where all the new technology. Bandai put in a lot of effort into this kit, and it shows from everything from the cape to the helmet to the weapons here. The fact that you've got tons of playability between his leg form, swapping this off the back, and that silly Kentaurus form, which is actually a surprising bit. It's going to look better than you'd think. So overall, tons of playability, tons of options, and even though you're not going to get all that much posability, I'd say with the weapons in hands, other than having them pointing one way or the other, it's still a lot of fun, and it's helped by the fact that you have those easy eye swaps, so you don't have that same dilemma that I've had with the H1 and H2 in SD form, where you have to choose whether you want to go serious or cartoony over there. And this one, they just give you the option of popping off the helmet and switching them around. So it's all pluses here. But in the end, that's just me, so why don't you let me know what you think of this Legend BB Knight Gundam. For 1,000 yen, it's done enough to make me want to pick up some more in this line. I don't know if I'd want to get the Command Gundam, he's never been a fan. But I'm sure there's lots out there, so why don't you let me know, do you want to be buying more? Are you hoping for this line to really expand with more good guys and bad guys? It's great to see an old classic take, or a new take on an old classic line, and it's the kind of thing where it just makes me think that maybe one day we'll be getting Elite Gundams in version 2.0s. Oh, let's say something like a V Gundam with some actual legs or something out there. But if these sell well, perhaps there's hope for those yet. Anyway, everybody, thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more reviews of small, everything from SD all the way up to the very occasional PG. Anyway, everybody, we'll see you next time. Bye. Yes, BB Knight was very happy with the verdict, until he turned around.